Abbott looks to reopen Texas businesses in early May, but schools will remain shuttered. Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Friday announced a statewide task force of medical and economic experts to reopen the state, with early May as a target date, issuing an executive order outlining the standards that will be used to guide the reopening of private businesses. Plans for opening businesses will be announced on April 27, depending on whether the state has been able to contain the coronavirus, but schools will be closed for the remainder of the school year. Abbott, a Republican, stressed that the framework would be determined by data and by doctors, and continued adherence to social distancing guidelines. Listen. The coronavirus. Fact versus Fiction podcast. Because of the efforts by everyone to slow the spread, we're now beginning to see glimmers that the worst of COVID-19 may soon be behind us, Abbott said at a news conference. The statewide task force will include Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who stirred controversy across the nation in late March by arguing that Americans should be allowed to go back to work, Dr. Mark McClellan, the former federal administrator of Medicaid and Medicare, and several doctors from Texas universities. We have demonstrated that we can corral the coronavirus, Abbott said, pointing to a statistic that Texas has the second most recoveries from COVID-19 of all states in America. Understand this? Opening in Texas must occur in stages. Obviously, not all businesses can open all at once on May the 1st. Some businesses, if fully open, without better distancing standards, would be more likely to set us back rather than to propel us forward. A more strategic approach is required to ensure that we don't reopen only to have to shut down once again. Texas, however, has conducted only 169,536 coronavirus tests as of early Friday afternoon in a state of 29 million people, according to the Texas Department of State Health Services. There are more than 17,300 coronavirus cases reported so far, and 428 coronavirus-related fatalities. An estimated 4,190 patients have recovered from the virus. In contrast, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, has said a state of 20 million people has tested more than 500,000 people for coronavirus over the past month. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has set a goal of conducting 25,000 tests a day by the end of this month, within the state's population of 40 million people. Abbott has said the state is trying to ramp up testing in partnership with private industry, and has said he sees glimmers of hope in testing data so far, with a bunch of red flags attached. The Republican governor has spoken frequently with Vice President Mike Pence as the Trump administration tries to help bolster the struggling energy sector, and Abbott said he also conferred with President Donald Trump about his reopening plans over the weekend. Unemployment claims in Texas rose above 1 million over the past month, representing about 7.2% of the state's total labor force, leading some business leaders to nudge Abbott toward reopening. The state's economy is reeling not only from coronavirus closures, but also the plunge in oil prices, which have fallen from about $60 a barrel down below $20 since January. The need for coronavirus resources in Texas will not peak until April 29. According to the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, and local officials have cited ongoing concerns about the inadequate level of testing. Abbott issued a stay-at-home order on April 2. Since then, he has said he is working on plans to reopen private businesses slowly, strategically, smartly and safely. This story is breaking and will be updated. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.